देख लिया ना, सब लोग मेरे को फ़ोन कर रहे हैं। वहाँ से अगर सारे आते थे ना, बहुत भीड़ होती, पूरा रास्ता पैक हो जाता, क्योंकि उनका कॉन्वॉय कितना रहता है बड़ा बड़ा। अमित शाह के क्रम पे कितने गाड़ियाँ थी? हाँ, नहीं फॉलो करके आए हैं। इंडिया टीवी कोणता ये वाला ना ये पिंक वाला ना इंडिया टीवी वो ये ना हमारे जैसे एजेंसी हम कितनी है वो ये ना वो सारी चैनल में हम लोग जैसे एजेंसी है ना जितने भी चैनल आते हैं जैसे मैं भी टॉप एंगल दे रहा हूँ तो मेरा अच्छा टॉप तो ये मेरे को सब चैनल वाले मैं कुछ अलग करूँगा तो वो सब चैनल
गाडी घेऊन यायची समोर गाडी त्याला फोन लाव तुला नॉर्मल टॅक्सी त्याला फोन लाव हा कोणता हा मोनोपोल घेऊन येतो हा आपला ड्रायव्हर आहे हो हो
सारे टीटीआई तो वैसे भी बहुत पुराने एजेंसी थे 77 ईयर प्रेस ऑफ इंडिया तो अभी वीडियो में निकाला है इधर लाइट लाइट मिलेगा लाइट है यार नहीं लाइट है क्या नाकू तो मेरे को पीछे देख ऊपर पीछे ऊपर देख पीछे ऊपर अरे पीछे बाजू ऊपर इधर ऊपर पीछे बाजू अरे इधर अरे तेरा पीछे अरे तेरे पीछे टेरेस पे ये रोड के एक तरफ इधर ऊपर अपना कैमरा मैन उधर भी खड़ा है, हो देखो राजा एक शेड पर उधर सर पे हाथ घुमा रहा है ना, अभी वो सर पे आगे हाथ घुमा रहा है, वो खड़ा है ना बैग लगा के कॉर्नर में देख गेट के। हाँ हो गया आपका ही है। चलो चलो अभी कुछ नहीं अभी हो गया खत्म।
संतोष तुम्ही थोडे वाकणार खाली, मी थोडे शूट करताना वाकणार खाली. हा प्लीज हे माझ्या पाठ काय करतो माझ्या प्रेशर उधर से धक्का मारा रांगा होते नाही तेव्हा नाही काय पाहिजे होता रे. उसको
आएंगे अभी बाहर आएंगे हाँ यू विल गेट टू सी
ये साइड पे है मालूम है, मैं जाके आया सुबह जाके गया, सुबह आके पूरा शूट करके गया, इसलिए मेरे को मालूम था ये पोजीशन सबसे बेस्ट है।
योजनाओं में आप देखें चाहे कोई भी आप चाहे वो कंसल्टेंसी वाली सर्विस आपको कमेंट नहीं मिलेंगे इस तरीके की चीज़ें बहुत बात की जाती है क्योंकि आपको उनका मीडिया का ग्लैमर भी नहीं दिखेगा मीडिया में ग्लैमर है देखिए
हाँ नहीं हाँ हाँ
आप उसको प्रेडिक्शन नहीं कर सकते कि वो कितना लंबा चलेगा बहुत सारे ऐसे मामले लेकिन मैं इसलिए कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि मुद्दे इसमें आ रहे हैं जैसे दो बड़े टाटा सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ था वो साइड के बाद में टाटा ग्रुप के आगे खाली किया था ये वैसा केस था जिसको कि टाटा ग्रुप ने लड़ा था क्योंकि ये इस तरीके की बहुत सारी लीगल बैटल
हेलो भाई, मेरे को तेरा कैमरा और लाइव वीडियो थे ना, मैं यहाँ से कर लेता हूँ। अरे तू यहाँ से मोजो कर ले, मेरे को अच्छे शॉट मिलेंगे यहाँ से। तू इधर दिखा, कैमरा दे दे, कैमरा और अरे वो छोड़ दो, वो इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है। हाँ मेरे पास दे दो कैमरा और तुम ये मोजो ले लो मेरे से। खाली कैमरा लाइव में लेके आ जाओ ना फटाफट। ये तो ट्राइपॉड के साथ लेके आ जाओ। ठीक है। एलसीडी बंद करके देना भाई, कोई पकड़ने इधर देना।
दादा मोबाइल थोड़ा नीचे कर ले। रतन टाटा यहाँ पर शमशान भूमि है, वहाँ पर पहुँचने के बाद अब अमित शाह अंदर की तरफ से के साथ महाराष्ट्र मुख्यमंत्री गुजरात के मुख्यमंत्री और जो केंद्रीय मंत्री है पीयूष गोयल, इस समय आपको तस्वीरों में फोन करता हुआ आपको इस समय तस्वीरों दिखाई दे रहा है। फोटो और की वजह से गाड़ी अंदर गई और इन्हीं के साथ मुख्यमंत्री और उप मुख्यमंत्री देवेंद्र फडणवीस इस समय अंदर से आते हुए बाहर दिखाई दे रहे हैं। गंभीर माहौल है क्योंकि रतन टाटा इतिहास के पन्नों में गुम हो चुके हैं, उन्हें अंतिम विदाई अब यहाँ पर दे दी गई है और उनके अंतिम दर्शन के लिए यहाँ पर शमशान भूमि से बाहर बड़ी संख्या में लोग पहुंचे हुए हैं। दीवारों पर भी जो शमशान भूमि है वहाँ पर विदाई देने के लिए यहाँ पर रतन टाटा का जो पार्थिव शरीर था वो पहुंचा था, उसे देने के बाद यहाँ पर अमित शाह समेत बड़े नेता महेश के साथ भारत तालीम तालीम अक्षय वॉकथ्रू वगैरे तर जरा गर्दी आहे त्यांना दुसरीला सांगत पण नाही वॉकथ्रू करना अरे वॉकथ्रू करना
मारला मला
क्या करने का अंदर जाने का ये राजा किधर है ये कौन खड़ा है राजा है कि कौन है राजा ही है ना ये राजा ही खड़ा है ना यहाँ पर क्या करिए हेलो हेलो
सॉरी
ऑन है सर, जैसा कि देश ने सही मायनों में एक रत्न खोया है, इस पर आपका क्या कहना है?
बिल्कुल सही बात है। उनको इंडिया से इतना प्रेम था कि वो हर काम जो करते थे वो चाहते थे कि इंडिया में उसके कारण कुछ फर्क पड़े, उन्नति हो।
सर, उद्योग जगत में जो उन्होंने बदलाव लाए उसको आप किस तरीके से देखते हैं? उनके जाने के बाद जो वैक्यूम क्रिएट होगा उसको हम कैसे भर पाएंगे?
देखिए, उनका जो कंट्रीब्यूशन है वो तो है ही, हमेशा रहेगा और ही विल बी मिस्ड, बट you know, he's left an impact like very few people can.
सर, और भारत रत्न देने की उनको मांग है, तो इस तरीके से आपका क्या कहना है? आप सपोर्ट करेंगे उनको? भारत रत्न मिलना चाहिए।
बिल्कुल, मैं तो जरूर सपोर्ट करूंगा। थैंक यू जी। नहीं
हमारी सर इलेक्शन टाइम ये पीछे
वो प्रसिद्ध सही का नंबर तो मैंने आपको दिया था, आप मुझे आप दो जल्दी से। 14 बात भूल गया एक अपना, सुबह इसी की मिस हुई थी अपने से।
95825 2507 860 मिल गया। और
राजा भी है इधर। तालीम सुबह का एक पाप दिल गया, सुबह का एक पाप दिल गया। एक और बाकी है क्या? मुझे लगता होगा नहीं। ये बैटरी है ना, मेरा 15% आ गया लाइव। तेरे को दिया ना, भेजा वो 2 है ना, मेरा ही बैटरी। हाँ, तेरा ही। तेरे वाला भाग गया, वो भाग गया वो।
क्राउड दिख रहा है वही ऊपर से
मेरे उस पर चढ़ा तो नहीं है ना कि नहीं
चला उतरा रे, चला रे।
गौतम गौतम इधर आ जा, बैटरी नहीं है।
चला भाई चला, ये चला रे। हाँ भाई, हेलो, हाँ भाई, हाँ जैसा कब का जा मुझे बोला मैं। हाँ
गौतम
पूरा ना पूरा जाने के कब का जाने करना कब का है आपका क्या वो जमाने जाओगे कब का बोला
गौतम मैं गौतम
पूरा ही लेके बाइक लाया हुआ
ठीक आहे भेटते थांबलं म्हणजे एकच बाहेर पडले
एक मिनट साइड रुक जाओ सर। आगे बताओ ये लो सर। हाँ कैमरा सर
नाम बोलो ना।
छोड़ दो,
मिल रहा था ना उनको
पता नहीं
लो एक मिनट
कंटेंट फोन
आपका टीवी नंबर क्या है?
6666। तो बैटरी मिला कि नहीं मिला बताइए सर। बैटरी तो दूसरा डाल दिया ना, उसी में डाल दिया ना। ओ उसी में डाल देना था। तो कैमरा जो था जो काम के लिए उधर से आने का शॉट।
हाँ नहीं वो बैटरी खत्म हो गया था क्योंकि वो सीखते था तो मैंने मेरे पास ले लिया था गौतम का कैमरा। बाकी सब मिल गया ना सब सही से। हाँ ठीक है अभी गौतम है उसका। हाँ संस्थान के नहीं वो बैटरी डाउन हो गया था। हाँ
अगर आप मंगवा सकते हैं सर, वो ट्राईपोड वहीं रखा है रोड पे भगा रखा मैंने। हाँ हाँ काम फोटो पाइए। डाउन क्या करना पड़ेगा, एक से पीछे रख दीजिए सर। वो देखूँ उधर का नहीं रखो, ट्राईपोड नहीं पहुँचे ना हम लोग।
आज का कैमरा आ जाता था ना, पता नहीं करा बहुत मस्त हो जाता। हाँ एयरपोर्ट भेज रहे नहीं वो यार राजेश कुमार को फोन करना वो ड्राइवर अपना घटिया ड्राइवर
मस्त शॉट मिल जाता फिर ये वहाँ पे लग जाता ना सर।
अरे मैं उसके लिए तो आगे जगह रुक के रखा
एकदम फ्रंट बीच में कह रहे थे सर ऑडियो नहीं आ रहा है, जबकि यहाँ पे ऑडियो आ रहा है, उसके बाद ऑडियो नहीं आ रहा। अच्छा लगा तो मैंने बोला नेटवर्क साइड
नागेंद्र
सब निकल गए परिवार के लोग लग रहे हैं ना? सबको निकल गए हाँ, वो तो मैंने पूरा फॉलो किया था सर, पूरा। ट्राइपॉड गिरा मेरे पैर पे, इसका ट्राइपॉड मेरे पैर पे गिरा, पूरा गया। फिर भी मैं काम छोड़ा नहीं यार, मैं दर्द हो रहा हूँ, देखना पड़ेगा। हाँ सर प्रणाम। अरे पूछो मत, बताओ सर। मैम ये पब्लिक का शॉट चल रहा है ना, ये TV6 से। जी जी मैम।
ये तो एक टाइम पे मेरे पास
लाइव पे ही है।
चलो
ठीक है।
इधर भाई
लोग प्रेयर कर रहे हैं ना, और ये टेंशन में है। पब्लिक के शॉट, बाकी तो सब चले गए।
ये
तुम्हारा जगह अच्छा था भाई, तुम्हारी आगे फोटोग्राफर को तकलीफ दिया रहेगा। इसका लोकेशन अच्छा था भाई, खाली आगे
तो उधर से उधर लाया ना कैमरा शिफ्ट।
तुम्ही हँडी पण करू शकता। हाँ मेरे को बीच में थोड़ा है ना डिस्टर्ब कर रहा।
हां तुला ना आम्हाला कसं झालं हे इथून मिळालं आणि हे असं मिळालं मग इथे फोटो बरोबर दिसायला
कैमरे को ट्राइपॉड में लाया ना, इसलिए से हुआ।
वो एडजस्ट कर सकता है लेकिन करते नहीं लोग। वो फोटो तो उनको चाहिए भाई, एकदम मस्त जोड़ी वाला। हाँ अच्छा फोटो क्या मिला
सर मैं अभी
सब चले गए सर। अंदर कोई है नहीं।
सीएम
ये तो अंदर से ही फुटेज है, मैं बाहर से पब्लिक का दिखा रहा हूँ। अच्छा ये दिखा दो, ये उसके शमशान घाट के अंदर, शमशान के अंदर कोई है।
नहीं कुछ नहीं इलेक्ट्रिक है ना वो दूसरे खिड़की से दूसरी खिड़की के आगे
हाँ कर दिया। वही मैंने पब्लिक का क्लोज है, रोने का उसका कोई रिएक्शन मिल जाता ना। अब देखिए सर, आप इसमें से छोड़ के वो जो 3 पब्लिक थे मुंह में उंगली डाल के जो बैठे हैं, उनका शॉट मैं चाह रहा था। ये इधर है
नहीं वो छोड़ दो, ये यहाँ पे
हाँ ठीक है। निकल गए वो भाई भी निकल गए। इसका वाइट कौन है?
मेडिकल वाला
ठीक है, मैंने छोड़ रखा ना। स्ट्रेचर निकल रहा है बाहर। पता नहीं स्ट्रेचर रख रखा है।
पाहिजे. इकडे घ्या रोप काढून. कर्मचारी इकडे घ्या आपले. इकडे वा. मला अरे तिकडचं शॉट मला पाहिजे. अरे मग हा म्हणूनच बोलतोय ना, तू वरती तरी जा.
दादा लाइव चल रहा है थोड़ी
अरे बांधायचं नाही ना, इकडे लोक सोडायचे नाही. इथं एक पक्का माणूस आहे आपल्याला लोक असे दर्शन घेऊन जातात आणि याचे रिटर्न जातात. ठीक आहे. वरती तरी जाणं त्या कोपऱ्यात मी खाली घेतो पाहिजे. काय करू शकतो पाय पाय वर कुठे जायला मला समजून मी कसं लावणार.
इकडेच थांबणार आहे
म्हणूनच सांगतो थांब जरा. अरे इकडे सोडायचे सोडायचे बाहेर काढायचं
सब दिखा दूं
साईडला राहा सिक्युरिटी थोडा पाठी राहा अहो पाठी राहा थोडासा पाठी इकडला जाऊ आता पुढे येऊ का मग
समझूंगे आप ये पब्लिक जा रहे हैं ना हम सर ट्रेन देखिए पता कर रहे हैं पब्लिक यहाँ से निकल के ये जा रहा वहाँ पे माला देने जा रहा है ठीक है मैं चाह रहा हूँ फ्रेंड से
सांगा ना आतमध्ये याला
रिकॉर्ड मिल जाएगा बस हाँ सब चलेगा कोई नहीं उनका भाई जी 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 बताइए बताइए
दादा 2 मिनिटासाठी बोला ना तुला 2 मिनिटासाठी फक्त 2 मिनिटासाठी हो पुश करा
ठीक 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 बस
सिंगल लाईन करा
कोणी पुढे जाऊ नका थांबा सर्वांनी
राजा भाई कुछ सामने जाओ सामने सामने जाओ सामने
हळूहळू जावा
हाँ अंदर यहीं तक आ सकते पूरा सामने लगा वहीं तो जाने अभी जा सकते
अमर रहे, अमर रहे, टाटा साहेब अमर रहे, अमर रहे, अमर रहे, टाटा साहेब अमर रहे, परतिया, परतिया, टाटा साहेब परतिया, 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 टाटा साहेब परतिया, टाटा साहेब जिंदाबाद।
अगर आप रिकॉर्ड नहीं करें एक मिनट मुझे करो कहाँ नंबर है खत्म हो गए 10-20 लोग हैं हो गया जितना होना था कैप्चर भी ना तो काटा नहीं आपका वो तो मैंने बोला है ये भी नहीं काटा ना इसलिए वो भी देख रहे हैं ना वो मेरी तरफ फॉलो कर रहे हैं सब ये वाला मेरा वाला छोड़ दीजिए राजा वाला ले लीजिए ना बस आप खत्म हो गए यहाँ पे खत्म हो गए ये देखिए अब नहीं है खराब बताइए बताया नहीं मैंने अभी इसको अब जब है ही नहीं हाँ यहाँ पे अब लोग पब्लिक नहीं है ना वो पब्लिक अब हाँ हाँ वो पब्लिक जो है राजा के पास है जो गाँव मिलने अब ये देखिए इधर से एक का दुख आ रहा है ये देखिए देख रहे हैं आपको दिख रहा था
चप्पल काढू नका, कोण पण काढू नका.
चला चला दादा, हो दादा चला चला दादा. चला सर.
मोबाईल आत ठेवा, सगळ्यांनी चप्पल कोणी काढू नका.
चला दादा, चला 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 दादा. चला चला दादा, चला चला काका, चला 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 या सर, चला सर.
with. And also we can clearly see that, amongst all of this matter that is ongoing, Atishi did a press conference and she said that the Aam Aadmi Party will again win the assembly election and that the spirit will not be broken, and that, all of this is being done to politically break the spirit of Aam Aadmi Party, while the BJP is saying that a thorough investigation should be done and then fresh allocation should be made by the PWD. Back the city.
Thank you for joining us with all those details. Of course, the Aam Aadmi Party releasing those pictures, trying to win some sympathy and brownie points as far as Atishi is concerned. With that, we are slipping into a short break. News and updates on the other side. Stay tuned.
Get ready for your insider guide to the most anticipated event of the year. I'm Alistair D'Souza. Welcome to US Election Watch. From the latest campaign strategies to going beyond the rhetoric, we'll get you the headlines that matter most.
we can be proud of what
We'll get you expert analysis, live updates, and exclusive interviews with key players shaping this historic election.
American president.
Whether you're a political junkie or just trying to stay informed, US Election Watch has you covered. Don't miss US Election Watch, where every vote counts and every moment matters. Catch us every week and stay ahead of the curve. US Election Watch, your front row seat to democracy in action.
And now joining us are Ismail and Tyro. A very warm welcome to NDTV. My first question to you, Ismail. Of course, your character is a new addition to Tolkien's world. Was there any pressure or did you take any inspiration to develop the character, or was it written so well that you didn't have to do much?
No, there is pressure, of course. There is pressure, but I was very ready to enter Tolkien's world. I'm a huge fan, and I wanted to do right by it. I love the elves. I love all things Tolkien. So it was just for me just an incredible opportunity to just make something very, very, very cool. You know, it's written beautifully, but with a lot of space for me to also be creative.
And your character has a duality. There's fear, there's bravery. How did you plan to navigate it? Did you do any exercises? Were you doing any notes to play that kind of duality?
I think it's kind of just like Theo is he just does whatever like he wants, you know what I mean? Like he's such an impulsive person, and I think I just drew on to that of just like put myself into these situations and just when I'm in these scenes, act as if I truly am Theo in this moment. And that's what helped me get that kind of, that action out, because really he's scared for his life almost all the time, but he has no choice but to fight. And that's kind of what I draw on. It's that
any quality of Theo that you relate with?
I think we both are very sensitive and emotional and I guess in touch with our emotions and aren't afraid to show how we feel about someone or something, which I think...
Very similar fashion style.
You think Theo would be...
You're looking very cool, by the way.
Thank you.
What about you? Any trait that you pick from your character or you relate with?
I mean, I relate with him quite a bit, you know, and that's like... it's a little tricky sometimes to answer that question, because it sounds like I'm saying I'm a hero and an action this and action that. But I think it's more things like his loyalty, his how much he wears his heart in his sleeve, how many questions, how inquisitive he is, how curious he is to a fault, and how you know, like I don't. We were asked if they were like good or bad characters or morally gray. I don't see him being any of those things. I just think he's consistently trying to figure out what he's doing here and what his contribution is in this world. And that's essentially what I'm thinking about all the time to a fault. I need to chill, and I don't often, but it's very similar to him.
But do you also feel heroic in your real life?
I mean, I think you're able to be heroic in many ways. I think I've had some quite, I mean, with humility, with some opportunities to do. To take some actions that have real historic consequences, and like and that's something that not many people can say. And I've had those opportunities to actually shift the course of, for example, being in fantasy and being like the first elf of color. That's actually something in terms of like the cinema or television history, you know. And like I don't want to downplay that. So and that's a blessing that I've been given, and I take that wholeheartedly.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Hello and welcome to India Global. I'm Gauri Dwivedi. The next 30 minutes, we're going to get you the big foreign policy stories. But first up, the headlines. Prime Minister Modi, in his fresh outreach to ASEAN, is set to attend the ASEAN-India meeting. The India-ASEAN friendship is crucial amidst conflict, says Prime Minister Modi as he heads for Laos. World mourns the loss of iconic businessman and industrialist Ratan Tata. Bill Gates says the loss of Ratan Tata will be felt around the world. The legacy of the Tata Group lives on. As tensions continue to remain in the Middle East, fresh update coming in that the Israeli Security Cabinet is set to vote on what should be Israel's response to the Iranian attack. Israel Defense Minister says that he vows lethal retaliation to Iranian attack. China sanctions 3 American firms over Taiwan sales arms to Taiwan. Sanctions also slapped on 10 senior American executives. World Bank raises India's growth outlook for 2025 to 7%. World Bank raises South Asia growth forecast to 6.4%. A lot of it is due to the rise in the Indian economy. All right, the first story on the show, India's ASEAN outreach continues. Prime Minister Modi is attending the ASEAN-India meeting. This also marks the 10th anniversary of his government's Act East policy. Prime Minister Modi also said that the friendship between India and ASEAN is in fact crucial amidst the conflict that the world is witnessing. Bilaterals have also been held with the Japanese Prime Minister as India marks a decade of its Act East policy. Let's first listen in to Prime Minister Modi. We come back and talk more on this.
मेरा मानना है कि 21वीं सदी एशियन सेंचुरी भारत और आसियान देशों की सेंचुरी है। आज जब विश्व के कई हिस्सों में संघर्ष और तनाव की स्थिति है, तब भारत और आसियान की मित्रता, समन्वय, संवाद और सहयोग बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है। आसियान की सफल अध्यक्षता के लिए मैं लाओ पीडीआर के प्रधानमंत्री सोनसाई सिपांदोन को हार्दिक बधाई देता हूं। मुझे विश्वास है कि आज की हमारी बैठक भारत और आसियान साझेदारी में नए आयाम जोड़ेगी। बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद।
All right, let's get in my colleague Kadambini Sharma to fill us in with the very latest and give us details of the significance of this entire trip. Kadambini, good to have you on the show. Take it away. Tell us the significance and the importance of this visit.
Well, let me tell you first what the PM has said in his closing statement. He has talked about two joint statements. One is the digital transformation and another one is comprehensive strategic partnership. And he has said that these two agreements which have been accepted will go a long way in the cooperation between ASEAN and India. Also, he has thanked Singapore as a coordinator with ASEAN. Now, the new coordinator is Philippines and he has welcomed those. But one important part which he said earlier while he was speaking at the opening of this summit, he has said that these are the countries which are friends, which are neighbors, and also they are standing together when there is so much conflict in the world. And he has also said that there should be samanvay, samvad and sahyog, that is coordination, communication and cooperation. The 3 C's he is talking about these countries. Now we have to understand that the theme of this ASEAN-India summit has been connectivity and resilience. Both are very important to India as well as the ASEAN nations. We have seen how India has helped as far as natural disasters are concerned. Recently we saw a typhoon after which India was the first responder, and here too India had helped not only Laos but also Vietnam. So we have seen India coming forward for these countries. As far as the diaspora is concerned, these 7 countries, the ASEAN countries, actually have almost 20% of Indian diaspora. They are the top trade partners of India, and both these things, they help not only in people-to-people connect, but also the resilience, supply chain resilience, which is very important, which India has been saying since the COVID time, that the resilience of supply chains has to be maintained, and it has been working towards it. We have seen this with Singapore, we have seen this with Brunei, and now also the ASEAN-India summit here. The importance which India attaches to ASEAN is very clear by the fact that last year, if you remember, India was preparing for G20 in full swing. Even then, PM flew to Jakarta to attend the ASEAN-India summit. So this is something which is very important to India, and this is a moment of strengthening the relationship as well as reviewing and taking it forward.
Absolutely. And in terms of specifics, what could be the kind of specifics that we could expect in terms of outcomes? Because, this is sort of a continuation. We hosted the Malaysian Prime Minister, then the PM also went to Brunei, Singapore, and now, of course, ASEAN. So in terms of specifics, any idea, what are your sources telling that could be the highlight of this visit?
Well, our sources have told us that we would not be disappointed. Those were the exact words, that we would not be disappointed. There would be some really important takeaways. We are still waiting for what would be the takeaways and how important they are. But of course, it would be in field of connectivity, it would be in field of supply chain resilience and much more. But let me also tell you about the East Asia Summit, which is also very important. There are observers, there are other partner countries who are there. Japan is there, New Zealand, Australia, China. These are also there. We have just had information that there was a bilateral meeting between the new Japanese PM as well as the New Zealand PM. So these are the two bilaterals which have happened. There are more expected. But also, while the East Asia Summit is happening, there is also Myanmar on the table. We know what the situation in Myanmar is and how India's stance on this is. So there might be some discussion about it. Also, there would be discussions about the cyber scam about which all the countries of Southeast Asia are quite worried.
All right, Kadambini, we leave it there. Really appreciate you joining us on the broadcast with that. Let's quickly now take a look at and focus on the first big discussion that we are having on India Global, which is the latest as far as India-China. Well, the fact is that ties have seen a bit of a thaw in the last couple of weeks. There was also comments coming in from the foreign minister that 75% of the issues seem to have been resolved. But in the backdrop of that, the senior commanders of the Indian Army are set to meet in Sikkim, the very first time that a meeting will be held near the line of actual control. What's the signaling? What's the messaging that the Indian Army is giving to its counterpart in China? Remember, 75% have been resolved, not 100%. Most importantly, this meeting isn't happening, in fact, in 2 phases. Phase 1 is to happen right now, which is 10th and 11th of October. Second phase will be on the 28th and 29th of October. The idea is to figure out capacity building, operational issues, and human resources, essentially identifying if there is any gaps in terms of the Indian Army's preparedness when it comes to handling the China threat. Let's quickly also now get in the guests this evening to talk more about this big story. Let's first get in Ambassador Shashank, former Foreign Secretary, and we also have Gunjan Singh to talk more about this. Ambassador Shashank, I want to start with you, sir. The fact is that, as I said, 75% may have been resolved, 100% is not resolved. The Indian Army still needs to prepare because the adversary is still very much there on the border. China has ramped up its presence significantly in the last couple of years, since 2020. And as the onset of winter is there, ahead of that, India and the Indian Army needs to prepare. But how do you see this, the messaging, the signaling, the fact that it's Sikkim, and the fact that it's very close for the first time to the line of actual control?
Well, China is an important Asian country, so we have to keep that in mind. And as our army chief has said, that the situation on the border with China is stable but tense. So therefore, we have to remain careful, prepare ourselves fully, and give signals of the right kind to the Chinese, that while we are willing to discuss with them all the pending issues. At the same time, we have to remain quite well prepared to protect our interests. And I think the Chinese also know that India would like to be friendly with the other Asian countries. So it's not just a question of China-India bilateral relations where they can muscle in, but also a question that all the Asian countries are negotiating among themselves. They are talking to each other, and the Chinese have to cut down their muscle flexing in the area. I think, therefore, what I would say that Indian commanders, army commanders, are giving the right signal to the Chinese people and Chinese army that, well, while we are willing to work out some peaceful solutions, but there should be taking into account the positions of both the countries. India completely, fully into account.
In fact, as I read it, the messaging is very clear that India is prepared. The talks may continue. Thaw is good to have, but the fact is we are ready, we are prepared, and we will continue to be so. Kunjat Singh, in terms of the messaging to China, at a time when parallelly talks are happening, at a time when efforts are being made to get that thaw in, to make continued progress, how do you see this?
Good evening, Gauri. As Ambassador Shashank has already mentioned, that obviously it's a good posturing, that we are ready, we are prepared. And as you said too, that thaw is good to have, but preparedness is also the right way to go, because the Chinese and the Indian military, though there has been some disengagement, we've seen 4 sectors where the disengagement has happened over the last 4 years after the 21 rounds of talks and 31 rounds of border negotiations and other talks. However, Sikkim is the area, like Ladakh and Sikkim region, Depsok and other areas where the disengagement still hasn't happened. Both the militaries are on a high alert. We are entering the 4th winter, which is, we know, given the terrain and the weather, is the most difficult part to actually maintain or actually do border patrolling. India, over the last 5 years, have been denied patrolling about 20 regions where they used to patrol before April 2020, before the whole Galwan incident took place. So given that logic, obviously, as you said, thaw is good, but obviously it's also showing that we are prepared. We also know that the defense minister will be there tomorrow in order to look after what is the preparedness on ground and do a ground check. He's also inaugurating a lot of border roads and border roads and bridges and other things.
Of course, infrastructure is continuing, and let me tell our viewers that there are 2 specific areas and issues on which there is still a major difference of opinion. One is, of course, creation of temporary camps by the Chinese at Demchok, and second being the specific Chinese deployments at Depsang. Those remain, and that's essentially the most thorny issues. And Ambassador, let me ask you this, Ambassador Shashank, that while these preparedness is happening, this messaging is also being sent out to China. All of this is happening at a time when India is also increasing its engagements with China's neighbors. So all of that needs to be connected in terms of the larger message that India is sending out to Beijing.
Well, actually, in dealing with an important neighbor like China, we have to take into account the feelings of the other Asian countries. So we are constantly involving ourselves in consultations with them. Secondly, we also have organizations where China and India are both members. So therefore, we will have the SCO, we'll have the BRICS, and so many other, and RIC. So we have so many other organizations. We have to see what actually is the reaction of the Chinese, that on the basis of whatever are the views of the other Asian countries and India, and the views that these organizations, where they want to improve relations among the member countries. So we just have to wait and see. Point is that we have to make a very clear-cut statement on the ground that we will be quite well prepared and take whatever actions required to be taken to protect our interests. But at the same time, we are quite well prepared also to carry out consultations and communications with the Chinese people in whatever other forums we can do that.
All right, Ambassador Shashank and Gunjan, thank you so much for speaking to me on India Global, a story that I'm sure we're going to keep coming back to. On that note, we slip into a very short break. We come back and talk more about, well, India's trade agreements. What should be our priorities? How should we go about inking those free trade pacts, especially in the backdrop of what Commerce Minister said, that there are sometimes political pressures that trump economic interests. We come back and talk more. Stay with us.
Get ready for your insider guide to the most anticipated event of the year. I'm Alistair D'Souza. Welcome to US Election Watch. From the latest campaign strategies to going beyond the rhetoric, we'll get you the headlines that matter most.
We can be proud of what
We'll get you expert analysis, live updates, and exclusive interviews with key players shaping this historic election.
American president.
Whether you're a political junkie or just trying to stay informed, US Election Watch has you covered. Don't miss US Election Watch, where every vote counts and every moment matters. Catch us every week and stay ahead of the curve. US Election Watch, your front row seat to democracy in action.
And now joining us are Ismail and Tyro. A very warm welcome to NDTV. My first question to you, Ismail. Of course, your character is a new addition to Tolkien's world. Was there any pressure or did you take any inspiration to develop the character, or was it written so well that you didn't have to do much?
No, there is pressure, of course. There is pressure, but I was very ready to enter Tolkien's world. I'm a huge fan, and I wanted to do right by it. I love the elves. I love all things Tolkien. So it was just for me just an incredible opportunity to just make something very, very, very cool. You know, it's written beautifully, but with a lot of space for me to also be creative.
And your character has a duality. There's fear, there's bravery. How did you plan to navigate it? Did you do any exercises? Were you doing any notes to play that kind of duality?
I think it's kind of just like Theo is he just does whatever like he wants, you know what I mean? Like he's such an impulsive person, and I think I just drew on to that of just like put myself into these situations and just when I'm in these scenes, act as if I truly am Theo in this moment. And that's what helped me get that kind of, that action out, because really he's scared for his life almost all the time, but he has no choice but to fight. And that's kind of what I draw on. It's that
Any quality of Theo that you relate with?
I think we both are very sensitive and emotional and I guess in touch with our emotions and aren't afraid to show how we feel about someone or something, which I think...
Very similar fashion style.
You think Theo would be...
You're looking very cool, by the way.
Thank you.
What about you? Any trait that you pick from your character or you relate with?
I mean, I relate with him quite a bit, you know, and it's like... it's a little tricky sometimes to answer that question, because it sounds like I'm saying I'm a hero and an action this and action that. But I think it's more things like his loyalty, his
Welcome back. You're watching India Global. The big focus now is about India's trade talks. Which way should it be? What should be our guiding spirit and focus in terms of how we go about inking those trade pacts is really the key question that we will now be discussing. Remember, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal recently said that India, under the previous political regime of UPA, was made to sign RCEP when it should not have. But the larger question we are asking is that as India talks about more FTAs, how should it go about protecting domestic interests, and what should happen in the event that there are more protectionist tendencies coming to the world after a possible Trump 2.0 presidency? That is our big focus. How should we go about inking trade pacts, protecting domestic interests, and at the same time warding off some of those protectionist tendencies? Joining me on the broadcast to take this forward is Dr. Asif Iqbal, who's former trade expert and president of the Indian Economic Trade Organization, Mithali Nikore, who is an economist as well. And I think they're with me on the broadcast. Mithali, let me start with you, in fact, and give you the first chance to come in here. How do you respond to the commentary made by the Commerce Minister, not specifically about the politics of it, but what I'm asking is that how should we now go about inking trade pacts? Should there be a complete difference in our approach in terms of inking free trade pacts?
Thanks, Gauri. Such a pleasure to be on the program with you today. And I think, Gauri, very clearly, what is evident is we have to look at our basic brass tacks economics when we are talking about free trade agreements. When I was doing some advisory work for the government, they actually told us how some of the free trade agreements are being negotiated, where they come in, the bureaucracy from our side comes in, and they're met by economists, experts, and finance experts and trade experts and sector experts from the other side with whom they are negotiating. And on this side, a lot of the preparatory work to understand what are the sectors where our competitive advantage stands is actually, the heavy lifting is being done by the bureaucracy and by a lot of the trade ministries. So I think what we really need is a lot more data driven, evidence based research to understand and identify those sectors where we are going to hold that competitive advantage.
I think one of the biggest complaints that the Indian industry has been having for the last couple of years, and in fact, Dr. Asif, let me ask you this, which is that some of its sectors like steel, cement, power have been the ones that have been at the receiving end of an influx of cheaper imports, which is why, of course, duties were slapped. But how do we now go about talking and addressing this going forward? And in fact, these comments were made in the UAE, where Commerce Minister was and where you are right now. So talk to us about what should be the first or second priorities that should guide India to ink its future FTAs.
Thank you, Tani. Now, I think, as much as we have benefited from the trade agreements in the past, there has been a negative trade balances with many of these countries, and there have been agreements where we have a decline of manufacturing. And these sectors that you're talking, are directly responsible for the decline of manufacturing. And these deals have also led to deindustrialization and specific sectors, while I don't mention, there are industries, especially with electronics and light manufacturing, which have really suffered on account of these, FTAs. And policy and regulatory reforms, the effort to build this supportive infrastructure.
Dr. Asif, you're beginning to sound like Donald Trump. You're beginning to sound like Donald Trump. That's what he was. That's what he was saying. But, yes, but then let me ask you this. Then what is the way forward? Because greater protectionism only hurts the economy at a macro level.
Absolutely. We are a farm-based economy. And if you see the legacies of our past and our, past, political aspirations, despite having many differences, what we have to do is the free market economics that we are having and the hostility that we are facing from our political rivals when rejecting such trade pacts, So the negative tone of this narrative, may be negotiated now, and coming back now to the distrust of free market economies, I would feel that two other compelling reasons are there, which is, the dismantling tariff barriers. They will prove very costly for a number of industrial enterprises that are globally competitive. I think this is something that we have to see, and a significant segment of industry, like the steel, plastics, and copper. They must be, steer clear of the RCEP. These are the two things that we must do.
I think RCEP is now history. We've not entered. We don't intend to, and I think that government position is very clear. But Mithali, then Mithali, last word I want to ask, which is that what about some of those most thorny discussions that we've been having for a very long time, US, UK. These are FTAs that we've made very little progress on because there are very entrenched positions on both sides, whether India or the other country.
No, absolutely. And I think here is where we need to start, removing and trying to break it down into smaller and smaller agreements. Can we have sector level agreements to begin with? Can we have agreements that focus just on merchandise trade? Agreements focusing just on services trade, agreements focusing just on even specific commodities and their value chains, looking at how logistics can be improved and how the shipping industries can be more integrated, looking at digitizations of trade facilitation and building, digital systems to improve the logistics cost. So breaking it down, Corey, is really the way I think that we can move forward on them. Otherwise, we will continue to remain stuck on one or two issues.
All right. As I said, there are no easy answers here. And I think it's just going to be case-to-case basis because India wants more open access on services and freedom of people. and that is where it gets stuck on manufacturing as well. All right, with that is a wrap. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of India Global, and with that we are wrapping this up. Thanks so much for watching this special episode. All right, well, this is a story that's heartbreaking. In fact, Ratan Tata, one of the iconic figures of Indian business, in fact, we lost him, India lost him yesterday late night. Ratan Tata is one of the pioneers of Indian business. He came at a time when the Tata Group was struggling with its own line of succession. JRD Tata had not created that succession line, so clearly Ratan Tata came at a very at an inflection point for the Tata Group, and since then he of course made a mark across the board in many and several sectors for the Tata Group, whether it was Tata Motors, the introduction of that world famous Tata Nano that he brought in, where he said an Indian family deserves to sit in a four-wheeler, whether that or the ambitious takeovers that the Tata Group did across the world, or his philanthropic activities that never cease to amaze India and the world. That's his contribution to India, to the world, to the society, and for generations to come. A businessman, a philanthropist, a visionary, and a guiding light for Indian business. All right, that's all the time we have in this edition. Thanks so much for watching.
Get ready for your insider guide to the most anticipated event of the year. I'm Alistair D'Souza. Welcome to US Election Watch. From the latest campaign strategies to going beyond the rhetoric, we'll get you the headlines that matter most.
We can be proud of
We'll get you expert analysis, live updates, and exclusive interviews with key players shaping this historic election. Whether you're a political junkie or just trying to stay informed, US Election Watch has you covered. Don't miss US Election Watch, where every vote counts and every moment matters. Catch us every week and stay ahead of the curve. US Election Watch, your front row seat to democracy in action.
Hi, we're talking Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power Season 2. Joining us is the stellar star cast. A very warm welcome to NDTV.
Thank you.
So we'll start as a warm-up. We'll start with some puns. Why did Sauron start a fashion line?
To wear the one ring?
You're close, because he always rings in the trends. Okay, second one.
Yeah, no, okay.
I promise it's a better one.
Okay, yeah.
What's Sauron's favorite kind of music? This is easy, huh?
Death metal?
Heavy metal. Yeah, sure. Death metal also works.
There's heavy metal in this season, you know. There is.
There
is actually.
The
troll song. Damn Rod, sorry.
Of course, it looks absolutely intense as well. We'll start with you, Charlie. Your character, of course, has a lot of menace, and still, at the same time, it has a lot of charisma as well. A lot of people are wondering, how are you cracking that kind of balance?
I think it all has to come from an internal drive to achieve something, right? And I think the other thing, I don't really think about how things are going to be perceived. It's more just like, I was just trying to get Celebrimbor to make me some rings. So everything, the way he presents and all of that kind of stuff is for Celebrimbor. In the same way that there's scenes with Adar in the first couple, and that's all kind of like mind games. Does he really know that I'm Sauron? I just kind of like play the scenes and everything else.
But you know, a character like these, they usually, I mean, evoke negative.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Karnataka scam versus scam. SIT in Karnataka has been approved to probe COVID-19 scam in BJP's tenure. BJP says the timing of the SIT is suspect. Kolkata doctors strike widens after Apollo Manipal Hospital doctors have now joined the protest. There's an emerging flashpoint between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP in the capital of India, New Delhi. This is a new flashpoint over CM's bungalow. BJP has said that Atishi did not follow procedure for takeover. Atishi, on the other hand, has accused the BJP of vindictive politics. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's call for regional unity at the 21st ASEAN-India Summit.
21वीं सदी एशियन सेंचुरी भारत और आसियान देशों की सेंचुरी है.
Champion Rafael Nadal bids goodbye to tennis. He will play his last match after November's Davis Cup. India bids farewell to India's favourite icon, business icon, Ratan Tata. Well, starting from stories from the south of India, the Karnataka cabinet today has approved taking action on the interim report submitted by Justice Michael D. Kunha on the 31st of August 2024 regarding the purchase of COVID-19 medical equipment. The commission had submitted its report in 11 volumes. Investigations are ongoing regarding irregularities amounting to over 7,000 crore. The commission has recommended recovering 500 crore in this report. In the light of this, the cabinet that is led by Siddaramaiah, the Congress government in Karnataka, has decided to form an SIT, a special investigation team, to probe this. All of this, remember, is alleged to have happened during the BJP's tenure in Karnataka. The cabinet has also decided to form a subcommittee to probe this matter. Let's listen in to some political reactions.
So what exactly will be the investigation or the probe that will be conducted by the SIT here?
COVID-19 was one which was one of the greatest problem to whole of the world, and Karnataka suffered in a very big way. Unfortunately, the government which was there that time, they mismanaged, and there was a lot of malpractice during that period of crisis. Naturally, having heard allegations, having ourselves made allegations against them, we constituted a committee under the chairmanship of Mr. D. Kunha, and he has given an interim report now. This is total irregularity of 7,223 crores. That much of irregularity has happened. And he has given the first interim report now. And in the report, he has very specifically made that 500 crores is to be recovered.
So does it also name some of the ministers, some of the people who have been involved? What kind of action would be taken?
Not yet in this report, but his final report is yet to come. But meanwhile, since this is a serious matter, we have constituted SIT, we have decided to constitute SIT, and also a cabinet subcommittee which will monitor the whole things.
As BJP, we do not we have done nothing wrong. The timing is suspect here because Siddaramaiah is involved in Muda scam, and High Court also, when he challenged the governor's sanction, came heavily, just short of giving the verdict. They point out factually as to how CM's family is involved in this particular thing, and he has accepted guilt by returning the sites now. Because if you look at Siddaramaiah's statements 13 years ago, when other leaders had given up sites, he said, this amounts to accepting the guilt if you're returning the site. And what he has done is the same thing. Just to divert attention of the people from the scams that Congress is indulging in. The Maharshi Valmiki scam of EDS party charge sheet, making Nagendra as the prime accused. Siddaramaiah is involved in Muda scam. And Shivkumar's corruption is known across the length and breadth of the country. So therefore, it has taken 18 months for Congress, after Siddaramaiah got involved in Muda scam, now to say that we are setting up a SIT. And they came to power saying that BJP was corrupt. They should have done this in their first 1 week. They did not do it. And now, from the SIT, BJP was involved in scam and so on and so forth. They had nothing to prove. Even on the 40% commission which they were making allegations, the contractor who made the allegations is no more. But unfortunately, even when he was there, he could not prove the allegations, and he had to be taken into judicial custody for defamation. So therefore, it is very clear that Congress is only trying to politicize the issue. They are failing to govern the state. They have a mandate, but their internal politics and on the moral ground that Siddaramaiah is not resigning, this is resulting in state having a bad governance model, and the people of Karnataka are suffering. This is nothing but vindictive politics by Congress. They should have set up an SIT if they really wanted to 18 months back. The timing is really suspect, I repeat here. After Siddaramaiah gets involved, to divert now they're saying BJP had a scam. Let them investigate. Let them hand it over to a central agent, NIA, CBI. Let them investigate, because the persons who report to Siddaramaiah obviously will not be able to do their probe. We want a fair probe into it, not a biased probe supporting Congress.
Well, it has been a politics of revenge of sorts as far as Karnataka is concerned, because while Karnataka's Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has been involved in the Muda allegations and has been fighting both the ED heat as well as the Lokayukta heat. Remember, the Lokayukta's investigating officers have already narrowed down on Siddaramaiah's kin in terms of summoning them for further inquiry as well as investigation there. And it is definitely going to be just a matter of time when Mr. Siddaramaiah as well as his wife would actually be summoned for questioning there. But in the meantime, it seems like the Congress leaders are now involved in digging into the dirt of several BJP leaders. It started with R. Ashok, and today the cabinet meeting is talking about the COVID report during the previous BJP's regime. And this COVID interim report was headed by Justice D. Kuna and was submitted on August 31st. And this cabinet meeting today discussed this report in detail and decided to, one, form an SIT that will investigate into this alleged financial irregularities, and two, they would also be forming a cabinet subcommittee that will look into this report in a more detailed fashion. What has been mentioned in the interim report is that the scam is worth around over 7,000 crore rupees, and that there is also a possibility of recovering 500 crore rupees. Now that is exactly what will be investigated by the SIT. But absolutely being tight-lipped about any kind of names that are involved as far as this report goes. All eyes are on the final report and the action that would be taken thereafter. But yes, it is definitely going to be a politics of scam versus scam in Karnataka. Back to you.
Well, moving on to some breaking news now. Maharashtra government that is led by Shiv Sena also has the BJP, and the NCP led by Ajit Pawar has asked the centre to raise non-creamy layer limit to rupees 15 lakh. The Maharashtra cabinet on Thursday decided to request the centre, the union government, to increase the income limit to qualify for non-creamy layer to rupees 15 lakh per year from the current rupees 8 lakh. Remember, the Haryana cabinet also decided to do this before elections. The decision came just ahead of the assembly elections, which are expected to be held next month. Remember, Maharashtra is one state where the NDA faced a setback of sorts in the Lok Sabha elections of 2024. A non-creamy layer certificate, which means the family income of a person is below the prescribed limit, is needed to avail of reservation benefits in the OBC category. In fact, a draft ordinance to accord a constitutional status to the Maharashtra SC Commission was also approved in the same cabinet meeting. Joining us now is Radhika, who's been reporting on this story. She has more details. Radhika, it's been a bonanza in the cabinet meeting of the Maharashtra state government today. First, of course, the constitutional status to the SC Commission, and now a special request from the Maharashtra government urging for the increase in the ceiling of the income for the non-creamy layer. So this is a big outreach to the OBC SC community.
Absolutely. Two big moves and decisions ahead of Maharashtra Assembly elections to lure voters, especially in the scheduled caste category as well as the OBC category. Earlier, of course, we had been reporting on how the Maharashtra cabinet had approved ordinance to grant the statutory status to Maharashtra State Scheduled Caste Commission. In Maharashtra State Scheduled Caste Commission had been established since a long time, but it did not have the statutory status, which means it did not have the power to make laws. They could only conduct hearings. It is, in a way, quasi-judicial power. Now, more power to this particular commission. So, in a way, Maharashtra government luring the voters from the scheduled caste just ahead of polls. These decisions are being made. Also, another decision which you mentioned, which is about requesting the central government to increase the limits of the non-creamy layer. Central government will be requested to increase the income limit from 8 lakh to 15 lakh rupees for those who fall under the non-creamy layer. So Maharashtra government asking centre to raise the non-creamy layer limits as well, requesting the union government to increase that particular limit, which means the family income of a person is below the prescribed limit is needed to avail reservation benefits in the other backward class category. So therefore, two big decisions, or rather big moves by the Maharashtra government in the cabinet meeting in order to lure voters in these categories, both the scheduled caste as well as the OBC category. One in the form of requesting central government to increase the income limit of non-creamy layer, and another approval of ordinance to grant statutory status to Maharashtra State Scheduled Caste Commission.
Okay, that's a big decision by the Maharashtra cabinet just before the assembly elections in Maharashtra. Thank you, Radhika, for joining us with those details. Moving on to more news from West Bengal, this time after senior doctors of some more state-run medical colleges in West Bengal on Wednesday joined the senior doctors from Arjikar Medical College and Hospital in Kolkata to offer mass resignations. Now, more hospitals have supported the agitation. Remember, this is a renewed protest over the brutal rape and murder of a 31-year-old junior doctor that happened on the 9th of August. After Apollo, now Manipal Hospital doctors have also struck work. Joining me now is my colleague Saurabh Gupta, who's been reporting on this agitation. Saurabh, the CBI has already filed a charge sheet against Sanjay Roy. The doctors, however, have said that the Bengal government has been unresponsive. Clearly, what are the demands and how is the state government looking at this?
Well, the latest that we're hearing on this is that a body called the Federation of Medical Associations have written to Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, and this is, the letter is titled Ultimate Appeal, and it's of course dated 10/10/2024, which is today. Now, we don't know where or how this letter has been sent to the Chief Minister, but the Federation of Medical Associations claims to be a platform of several medical associations and medical bodies, and this, of course, is something that is a letter that's very, very, the language in the letter is something that, of course, is being used, can be seen as a warning. It goes on to say that we have had enough discussions and exchange of pleasantries in a democratic way. And then, of course, it says that, a medical community was divided earlier, not anymore. And then they say that if any casualty happens amongst the fasting unto death or any junior doctors, that will be the last spark to light the flame. They go on to add that, no amount of vote bank or police force will be able to stop that movement. We will make sure this extreme step that you're forcing us to take will be supported by every common man and even your own vote bank. They go on to add that it will soon be followed by similar action pan-India. Even central forces will not be enough to douse the flames. And they add, they go on to say that kindly consider this as an ultimatum with no other option to save your pride, position and government. So this is clearly, a letter that's being shared online, and it's a letter that's apparently been written by FEMA body. But again, we'll have to see if this letter has indeed been sent, and this body has indeed sent this letter. But this is a letter that's gone viral, that's believed to have been sent to the Chief Minister's office. We're still waiting for, to see how this pans out. But doctors say they've been protesting. and that the government has been non-responsive. The government says that, look, everything the doctors have said has been looked into, is being addressed. The Supreme Court has been told about it. Today, JP Nadda, the BJP president, was in Kolkata. He also spoke on this RG Kaur issue. He said that the centre has sent 3 advisories to the state government, and they want a response on that. So Mr. Nadda, of course, speaking. Then, of course, this letter and these protests. Also, some of the doctors from private hospitals also announcing cease work, non-clinical emergency cease work is what they're saying. During the pujas, of course, the government has said that whatever has to be done will be done after the pujas. But at this point, though, the doctors also, today we were told that in some places they had some sort of a scuffle with the police. But the protests continuing largely.
Right. Thank you, Saurabh Gupta, for joining us with those critical details. Doctors' agitation there in Kolkata intensifying. Despite the CBI having filed the charge sheet, the West Bengal government under a lot of scrutiny. It needs to answer as to how these working places of doctors have to be made safe. Moving on to another political war that is brewing between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP in the national capital. 2 days after Delhi Chief Minister Atishi moved into her official residence, the Chief Minister's office on Wednesday claimed that the Public Works Department has removed her belongings from the house. This has now resulted in a political row in the national capital. BJP has alleged that Mr. Kejriwal gave the official CM residence illegally to Atishi. Now, Atishi, of course, has done a press conference saying that BJP is upset because the party cannot defeat the Aam Aadmi Party in elections. Let's look at what the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party said in this controversy.
देखिए, भारतीय जनता पार्टी इसलिए परेशान है क्योंकि वो आम आदमी पार्टी को चुनाव में हरा नहीं पाती। उसके बाद उनका मुख्यमंत्री नहीं बनता, उनकी सरकार नहीं बनती, तो वो ऑपरेशन लोटस शुरू करते हैं कि आम आदमी पार्टी के नेताओं को जेल में डाल दो, विधायकों को जेल में डाल दो, पार्टी तोड़ दो, पार्टी खत्म कर दो, कि किसी तरह भारतीय जनता पार्टी का मुख्यमंत्री बन जाए। तो अब वो चाहते हैं कि मुख्यमंत्री तो बन नहीं पाए, किसी तरह से मुख्यमंत्री आवास पर ही कब्जा कर लें। अगर भारतीय जनता पार्टी को मुख्यमंत्री आवास पर कब्जा करके मन की शांति मिलती है तो उनका स्वागत है। ये सारे बंगले भारतीय जनता पार्टी को मुबारक हो, हम दिल्ली वालों के दिल में रहते हैं।
आतिशी मार लेना को समझ लेना चाहिए कि शीश महल मुख्यमंत्री आवास नहीं है। पीडब्ल्यूडी की वो प्रॉपर्टी सीएम आवास के लिए एयरमार्क नहीं है। और ये भी इतिहास में पहली बार हुआ कि एक मुख्यमंत्री चोर दरवाजे से अंदर घुसना चाहती है, जब उसके बाद मथुरा रोड में पहले से बंगला है। अरविंद केजरीवाल ने जिस तरह से भ्रष्टाचार करके उस शीश महल को बनाया है, आखिर क्या कारण है कि पूरी की पूरी पार्टी उसे छुपाना चाहती है? किसी भी सरकारी प्रॉपर्टी को टेक ओवर और हैंड ओवर करने का एक प्रोसीजर होता है जो कानूनन इनको पूरा करना चाहिए था, जो इन्होंने नहीं किया। उस कारण कानून अपना काम कर रहा है, इनको छटपटाहट क्यों है?
Rafael Nadal on Thursday has made an important announcement. He has announced his retirement from professional tennis. The 38-year-old will make his final appearance for Spain at November's Davis Cup finals. My colleague Osama has more details on this, but first let's look at what happened today.
Hola a todos, estoy aquí para comunicaros que me retiro del tenis profesional. La realidad es que han sido unos años difíciles, estos 2 últimos especialmente. Creo que no he sido capaz de jugar sin limitaciones. Es una decisión que evidentemente es difícil, que me ha llevado tiempo tomarla. Solo puedo terminar diciendo 1000 gracias a todos y hasta pronto.
Osama, tell us the significance of this announcement.
Well, this entire announcement, it has come out of the blue, especially when it comes to Rafael Nadal, who's known to keep fighting and his never say die attitude. But when you look at that video, it just gives you a sense of the kind of helplessness that has led to Rafael Nadal announcing his retirement. You know, it has been an illustrious career spanning over 2 decades. And that is coming to an end. Rafael Nadal, he announced his retirement, the 22-time Grand Slam champion. He revealed his decision. He cited physical wear and tear. He will be playing his final tournament at this upcoming Davis Cup in November. And as you could see in that particular video, it was visibly emotional. He, in fact, thanked his team,
the fans, and more importantly, his family. When you talk about Nadal's legacy, it includes 14 French Open titles and a record 62 consecutive wins on clay. This is one surface that he had a special love affair with. And who can forget his battle with his rival and his friend Roger Federer. Again, it's a testimony of his incredible sportsmanship, both on and off the ground. And remember that icing on the top, the video that you're seeing right now, that iconic moment after he defeated Federer in the final of Wimbledon in 2008. This match is also considered one of the greatest ever Wimbledon final by many who have watched the sport, who have played the sport, and tributes, in fact, have been pouring in from the world of sports, praising Nadal's remarkable career and his character. In fact, Roger Federer, the 20-time Grand Slam champion, he posted his reply on his Instagram post, on Nadal's Instagram post, saying that thank you for the unforgettable memories and all your incredible achievements. While Cristiano Ronaldo, who's a very dear friend of Rafael Nadal, he in fact said that your dedication, passion, and incredible talent have inspired millions around the world. Rafael Nadal, as we all know, a name, it is etched in tennis history. His retirement, it also marks the end of an era, but his legacy will endure. Back to you, Vasudha.
Thank you, Osama, for joining us with those details. Important announcement by the tennis superstar there, Rafael Nadal. Thank you, Osama. Moving on to other news, and this time to some global updates. The Middle East conflict has been simmering. In fact, it has widened now with multiple players joining in. Israel, in fact, is battering Lebanon. NDTV's Mohammad Ghazali is there reporting from the front lines. Israel's aerial attack on Lebanon. NGO office has been bombed in Lebanon. Here's a report.
During our trip to Beirut, we are visiting many areas besides the city to see that what has been the extent of damage due to the aerial strikes which have been going on in Beirut and different parts of Lebanon for the last 2-3 weeks. And this is one building. We have just come over here. The area is called Wardaniye. And you see, as per the locals, we were told that this is one of those buildings which was the office of a local NGO which is providing food and shelter to the displaced people, and this has been the impact of the aerial strike. And we will try to show you, we'll go inside this building and see that what has been the impact here. You see this is the rooftop, this is the first floor, and now we'll try to enter into this house. This is the entrance gate, and we'll try to see that what has been the impact here. And you see that the NGO used to operate here, and massive damage. You see this ceiling has come down, the rubble here, you can see these kitchen crockery, it's all here. And this attack happened a week ago. The rubble is still here, and I'll try to show you that the extent of damage. The entire building has come down. And the locals we spoke to is like, they told that this has nothing to do with Hezbollah, but certainly it's a locality which has maximum Shiite population, and that's the reason perhaps why this came under the attack from the Israeli airstrike. And you see, I'll show you, you see the rooftop, the ceiling entirely damaged here. So this NGO, the local NGO, used to operate from this building. They used to provide food, shelter, medical supplies to ensure that anybody who is moving out from the southern part or the southern suburbs of Beirut, of Lebanon, who are facing attack, were provided all kinds of facilities, support here. So we can't go to the rooftop. You see here, that's the extent of damage here in Wardaniye. The area is called Wardaniye, but we'll try to show you, this is the damage.
Business leader Ratan Tata, who died at the age of 86 in a Mumbai hospital last night, cremated with full state honours. The state government had declared a day of mourning today to honour the late industrialist. In fact, tributes have poured in from all parts of the world. Minister Amit Shah also took part in this funeral. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who was in Laos to attend the ASEAN India Summit, also penned a beautiful tribute to the late business leader.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
Get ready for your insider guide to the most anticipated event of the year. I'm Alistair D'Souza. Welcome to US Election Watch. From the latest campaign strategies to going beyond the rhetoric, we'll get you the headlines that matter most.
We can be proud of
We'll get you expert analysis, live updates, and exclusive interviews with key players shaping this historic election. Whether you're a political junkie or just trying to stay informed, US Election Watch has you covered. Don't miss US Election Watch, where every vote counts and every moment matters. Catch us every week and stay ahead of the curve. US Election Watch, your front row seat to democracy in action.
Hi, we're talking a lot of the rings of power. You are watching me on NDTV. My name is Arun Singh with JD, the showrunner. And of course, we have supremely talented Markella and Megan. Very warm welcome to NDTV. As a warm-up, we'll start with some punny riddles.
Great. Okay, here we go. Riddle in the morning.
Why are Harfoots so humble?
Because
they never sell themselves short? I don't know.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Very nice.
That's a good one.
Very nice.
Although my answer was they are down to earth.
Down to earth.
Oh, very nice.
We have another one.
Nice.
We have another one. Why is Eleanor so active?
Because she's... I'm terrible with riddles. I'm the worst.
Always on her foot.
I like it.
Very nice.
Very nice. Now, of course, the overall theme of the series is dark. How did you balance it, if you had to, with the comedic themes that these two characters bring?
Well,